Let's go.
All right.
What's good?
Everybody. Welcome to the Art of Human podcast. This is episode, I believe it's going to be episode 77. And today we have the pleasure of having another return guest. His name is Braxton Marcellous. He was actually like the second human to human, I think. So this is like what these episodes used to be called, human to human, when it was a one-on-one. And Braxton was actually like the second person on there. I believe my brother was the first human to human and Braxton was number 2. So that was probably like podcast like number 5 or 6, like super early in the project. And now Braxton is back on episode 77.
Throwback Thursday.
Oh shit, he's fucking right. Today is Thursday. Throwback Thursday. Braxton, how does it feel to be back after 70 some episodes or something?
It's sick. I've been like keeping up. I liked a lot of the stuff. I like the one, there was like an elder gentleman you had on here.
Oh yeah.
That one was interesting, just to see like his like life experiences and stuff.
Yeah, that was Don Pancho.
I feel him. I don't know who that is, but he's out here apparently. He's lit.
He's lit, yeah. That was we had a 91-year-old on the podcast. This was like, it must have been like 10, 15 podcasts ago. I think that podcast is called like Talking to a Happy 91-year-old.
He's the OG for real.
Yeah? Did you understand what he was saying? 'Cause it was all in Spanish.
Didn't you like translate some of it?
My dad was translating.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, but no, he was sick.
Okay.
Triple OG. That's quadruple OG.
Quadruple OG?
Yeah, he's the OG's OG.
Yeah, I mean 91. I feel
Sponsored by Bud Light.
Sponsored by Bud Light, folks.
And alkaline water.
Alkaline water. pH of 9 point something. Let's get a cheers over here. Let's get a cheers.
Let's go.
You know what, everybody? Post-COVID, we're starting to get out of the pandemic. I feel like that's something to celebrate, right?
For real. Finally.
Yo.
A year and a half later.
Dude,
about a year and a half.
It's literally been forever. Literally, last time you came on, the pandemic wasn't going on.
Yeah, that was a minute ago.
Dude. Like, isn't that fucking crazy?
Is that 2019 or 2020?
When you came on?
Yeah.
Did I really think that was... No, I mean, it must have been like either super late 2019 or super early 2020. Because I know that you were on before the pandemic, for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely.
That's fucking crazy.
That's crazy, dude. That's so insane.
Braxton, if you want, just for people who maybe didn't listen to that first podcast or maybe they don't know who you are, would you like to give a little bit of context to the audience as regard to who you are? So maybe tell us, where'd you grow up, and give us a fun fact, and then just random shit that just paints us a picture of Braxton.
Let's go. My name is Braxton Marcellous. Born in like Long Beach, Lakewood area. Then I moved to Artesia. Then I moved to Corona. I was IE bound. Then I've been in Lake Elsinore for like years. I've lived in 4 different places in Lake Elsinore. That's like, I pretty much rep like Inland Empire at this point. I've been here for like more so. I've used to like moving around and whatnot, but now I'm like pretty much grounded in Inland Empire. I went to elementary school in like Gardena area, which some people don't really know. It's like, I think it's like a gateway city in like LA, like near Torrance, Inglewood, Hawthorne area. I was going out there. Then I went to 2 schools out there. Then I had a fake address in Orange County in La Habra to go to school after that, near my dad's job. So I was going to school in La Habra. And then I switched from elementary to middle school, and middle school to high school was all in Lake Elsinore. So I met like everybody sick. Speaking of Sapien, I met Sapien in Lake Elsinore. And yeah, I'm a musician. Model. I have a radio show that's coming back soonish. I would say maybe fall. It should be coming back in the fall. I'm kind of like straightforward. That's kind of boring. I just have like 3 titles, I guess.
I got you.
Musician, yeah, nothing like too sick, but
nah, dude, that's fucking tight. And I guess for people who, just to build more context, I always like to like, you gave your context, but then let me tell the audience how we know each other, right?
Let's go.
So they know about that. Me and Braxton met in like high school. And I don't feel like we were ever that close in high school. It must have been like maybe more so like towards the very end, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like Braxton's a year older than me, so like I feel like him and my brother were hanging out. And then it was like in high school, probably like my junior year or maybe my sophomore year. That's when we kind of started hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
You would come to my house to hang out with my brother, or we would meet up and hang out with I'd go with my brother, and then I'd like hang out with you. So we've known each other for like a minute, right?
I would say 10 years. 2011 or 12? 11 or 12?
Yeah, 2011. Yeah, probably 2012. Yeah, that means it would be almost 10 years.
That's nuts.
Which is like baffling.
That's crazy how it just like creeps by.
Yeah, no, it's like, man, like even just like I was hanging out with like some college friends the other day, and like there's like Cal Poly people, and I was like, I've known you for 6 years, and like, I don't know, that's just like kind of crazy. Like, I don't know, like college went by, and like, I don't know, like, what, you're 25, 26?
Yeah, 26.
You're 26, I'm 24. I'll be 25 like in August. I don't know, bro. This whole life thing is just, I feel like it's going by kind of fast, right?
I was thinking like we feel old, but we're like babies, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Like, my dad was born in 1957.
Really?
Yeah, my dad was born in 1957. I can't fathom that. Like, I mean, so he's like 26, 27, 28, 29. That's just like, he told me at that age, he doesn't even remember what he was doing. He was doing some crazy stuff. And it just blows my mind. Like, how like we perceive time as like, oh, I'm getting so old, bro. Like, the homie just turned 24. He's like, dude, my life is over. I'm 24. Like, bro, 24, like, it's crazy. 24 is so insanely young. And we were watching the Olympic thing.
Oh, yeah.
She was 24.
Yeah, it was like one of the best Olympic gymnastic. She was a girl, and I forget her name, but she's pretty much like the best at what she does.
It was blowing my mind. Like,
and she's like 24.
24.
Yeah.
And that's just so insanely young. 25, 26, 27. That's just like, especially when you're like on the map and you're like doing stuff. I mean, there's like an old 25, 26, 27, and like a young 25, 26, 27.
So what's the difference there?
Like, if you have aspirations and goals, and you're actively trying to better yourself and your community at a younger age.
Mm-hmm. That's a young one?
They're like, oh, you're only 26 and you're doing all that?
Oh, I get you.
And then there's like, you're
not doing anything?
Doing just, your whole purpose is just like, doing illicit activities and ruining people's life and being an op, pretty much.
What does that mean?
An op is like someone's like opposition, someone's like, if you're opposed to somebody, like if you guys are in opposition, like that's an op,
Oh, okay.
So like somebody who's just, their main goal is just take somebody down, just be negative, not a like positive thought in their whole brain, just always trying to do some crazy stuff.
Always trying to take other people down?
Yeah, and then that's when you're like, bro, you're grown acting like this. It's always like the dichotomy of like same person, but what they're doing is like, oh, you're so young for doing that. Oh, you're too old for that, So I feel like if you're like 26, 27, 28, worried about like pocket watching and worried about what somebody else is doing and trying to take somebody down, no goals or aspirations, like always being negative, trying to drag other people down, no sense of trying to better your community or anything. It's like, but you're too old to be doing this, But if you're like, the exact like antithesis of a person that's like that, you're the exact opposite. You're just like always doing this, always trying to make people feel good. Oh, you started off so young, Everyone always, So that's why we're like young. We could be old heads.
Yeah, we could.
Hating on everybody.
But at the same time, with the thing that we're talking about being like an old 24, 25, or being a young one, isn't it kind of culturally accepted that younger people are, when they're young, they're doing the reckless stuff, and then as they mature, they get more settled down or whatever? I'm
definitely reckless. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna get into details.
I feel like there's a difference then. There's young people who are reckless but still ambitious, but then there's people who are young, reckless, and unambitious.
Yeah, like,
is that the difference?
I'm taking advantage of my youth. Like, I know, like, I'm young, so I'm just gonna do stuff that. I mean, I'm not gonna be 48. Hey, bro, let's go to the club tonight. Like, you know, like, come on, bro. Like, I might, you know, but
I might.
but I just don't want to be that dude. You know, like it's 3 a.m. Y'all left the club. Hey, what's plots for the next move? It's like, bro, it's 3 a.m. Like, you got a wife and kids at the house. Like, go home, you know. But now it's like mid-20s. It's like, bro, what's the move? You know, like now that stuff's opening back up, I think June 15th, I think the mandate is lifted so we can just...
No mask at all, huh? No.
I'm going to be turning up. Because it's like, finally, you know, we're young. But I'm not going to do, like, stupid, like... There's, like, stupid stuff and there's, like, that stupid stuff, you know? Like, just having fun, wilding, but still knowing, like, yo, don't get too caught up in superficiality. Just know, like, yo, I have, a goal, but, you know, I'm a, you know, defaulter a little bit so I can have fun or whatever. Just because, you know, we're, like, young. You know. Okay,
and you, you're somebody, at least from what I know, and you tell me if I'm right, you're somebody who's pretty social, who spends time talking with people, and you're on social media and things like that, and you said you're a model, you're a musician, so like, you're pretty in the social atmosphere. People around that age that we're talking about, like 20s to 30s, like, is the majority, or like, if you had to give rough percentages, how many people our age are on the reckless and unambitious and taking people down, and then how many people are ambitious? Like, what's the percentage from your personal perspective?
In my, like, finite bubble of like the spaces I carry to, the scenes I'm in, it's kind of disproportionate, unfortunately. It's like, I would say I see maybe like 60-40.
Okay.
Like, I see a lot of negativity. People are always like, oh yeah, support your friends if they make music, support your friends if they do arts. And it's like, people are hush mode until they see, like, the fruits of the person's labor. You know, like, I always see the meme of, like, you remember about SpongeBob with the pretty patties, and there's like the thing next to it, and it was like no one was going there, but everyone was going at the one.
How do you call it? The pretty patties?
Yeah, I think that was the episode.
Colorful ones, right?
Yeah, it was one episode where there's like two stands. No, I think it was like the bubble blowing thing on SpongeBob or something like that. You remember the bubble blowing thing had like a bunch of people next to it. The other one had nobody there. It was like a meme I always see, and it's like there's nobody there when you're like trying to build a brand, cultivate a brand, startup costs and all this stuff. You know, there's no one there trying to be like, oh yeah, my homie. But once it's like, yeah, you know, I got this gig, a few thousand people. Oh, dude, I've been so happy for you, King. Like, oh my God, dude, you're doing it. It was like you were not there at all, not even remotely anywhere close. When I was like, hey, I got this gig, might be 8 people there, you know, pull up. Oh no, dude, maybe, you know. But then they want to be like, they want to go to the gig. Oh, dude, I'm here. Like, dude, I'm so happy for you, dude. Like, you're doing. It's like, where were you at? You know, I see a lot of people who just are just clout chasing, and it's really like, I mean, they may have goals and ambitions, but all they do is bag on other people who are trying to do things until maybe now that person is doing things that person wants to do, and it's like, oh, well, let me attach myself to this person, even though I spent like months or years just trying to like defame them or make fun of them. Because, you know, I see a lot of that, and it's like really sad, because it's like an artist in a community of artists, you would think that it would be less competition and more just like, oh, we're all, you know. But I see a lot of people who are just acting like old heads. It's like, bro, y'all are, I mean, like, and that's when you being old comes into play, you know. It's like, you're how old acting like this, you know? And I see that a lot, where there's people, I'm like, I'm scratching my head. I'm like, you turned how old, and you're still like acting like you're like 11, 12 years old, you know? So Prince said, act your age, not your shoe size. That's the goat for that, bro.
Oh God! Unless you're like Shaq or something, like a size 20 something.
Yeah, then he's just turning up all the time. He's like, bro, I'm 22, bro. I do what I want to do.
What was I gonna say? It's like about this age thing. I can't think of it, so we'll just improvise. Yeah, I can't think.
F it,
bro. No, but I feel like, I mean, I feel like for me, what's probably helped me to like stay like on my own path has probably just been spending the time alone. You know, like I think that part's important, like on some serious stuff. Cause like talking about you saying people like chasing clout and stuff, like you have to think like, why is it that people are attracted to be around people who have clout? You know, I don't know. And I'm just going to brainstorm and then you give your input. But I don't know. Someone has clout. So you're around the person who has clout. Then all of a sudden, maybe you start perceiving yourself as being more cool. And then you thinking you're more cool maybe makes you a little bit more confident. But I think the problem with that is that now your confidence is kind of like tangled with this person. So then when you're now with that person, or if that person starts to lose their clout, then all of a sudden you have to go be looking for someone else to be under their umbrella. Yeah. Or something like that. What do you think? Like, why is it that people want to be around people that have clout?
People are so caught up in like this fake validation. Like they want to seek validation from everybody, and they're literally like facilitate situations where they can look as if that they have this facade, you know, like they're like it stresses me out because so many people are just caught up in this, look at this. I mean, our flex, you know, just because like, you know, I flex for fun, you know, people flex for fun, like I get it, but so many people are just so caught up in like this internet validation stuff. Like they need to prove themselves. And when they see, and at the end of the day, when people say support your artist friends, support your friends that make music, it's like I don't really see it. I see like people want to look like they're so cool and like, oh, see what my homie's band's doing? They're doing this. It's not about if the band is cool. It's just no. I mean, it's not about if the band sounds good or if whatever. It's like if the band's good or big. If the band's big, it's like, oh yeah, look, my homie's band's doing this. They're doing that. But it's like people don't want to attach themselves to other people who are playing smaller shows because, like, you know, they want to look like they're so cool all the time, whatever. But it's like me as an artist and in a community of artists that wants to build everybody up. It's like if we're cool, I don't care what your band sounds like, because there's a lot of bands that I just don't really personally like. It's not my taste, but I support the homies. Like me, I was used to. Like back in the day, I had a punk band, and we would play like bars. And there was a dude, his name was Tony, the homie. He was older than me. He's like 30 something. He was mostly in the rap. He had like a family. He was a fighter, and he was, you know what? My friend is playing a bar. I don't really like punk, but I'm gonna go support the show. I'm gonna buy a ticket, buy a shirt or whatever to support the homie. It's not because, oh yeah, he's playing Madison Square Garden, or it's not because, oh, I love this band. It's like neither, because he liked rock, but what he would listen to normally was just like early 2000s hip hop type stuff. Like that was his main thing. So he would go and support the shows I would do just because we were friends. That's what I was accustomed to. That's how I was used to. So I was used to like, yo, if we're friends, like you will support it. And there's so many friends, quote unquote friends I had that would not support anything I did unless it was cool. And I've said this before, they're only my friends due to my proximity to coolness, my proximity to their friend's cool band, or my proximity to a cool label or a cool whatever. And it just shows how superficial people really are, because me, bruh, like, especially like I would go, and I'm not saying like, oh, I'm a great person for doing this, but like I would go to anybody's show just to chill if the homie's doing something or do something. Like I just like to support other people, because as an entertainer, like you really won't get anywhere if people don't support you. And I'm not doing it. I'm not scratching your back so you're scratching mine. I don't expect that, because I've scratched a lot of people's backs who would never would even think about, you know, helping me out. You know, I went to people's band, you know, I wasn't even a fan, but I was supporting them. And then here, because I have a show, they're nowhere to be found. They won't engage with the post. They won't help me out or nothing. They don't support it. I don't do it so other people will support me. I do it just so I can support other people, because that's how you grow in a community, you know? And I don't see enough of that. I only see people supporting stuff if it's cool, if it's big. And one thing I noticed, like last year, people would donate to like organizations, nonprofits, you know, for like Black Lives Matter or whatever. And I see certain artists would be like, yo, I'm gonna auction. It's like $10 to enter the auction, and I'm gonna auction off this, you know, rare piece that I have from my band or whatever, and all the proceeds go to blank organization to support blank's family who was, you know what I'm saying. And I would see certain people would only engage with those posts if it was from a band that they liked. It wasn't about the end goal of helping out Black lives. It's like, oh, this band's cool, dude. Like, they played this festival, so, you know? And it's like, people were so caught up in the facade of this being a cool band. And I saw a lot of bands doing it. And it was funny to see. I know who saw it and who didn't, you know? I'm not saying I have a grand scope. I guess I'm the all-seeing eye. I'm not saying that. But, like, I know the demographic. I know who sees what. And I know some people would see so-and-so's band doing, you know, auctioning off something for Black Lives Matter. They wouldn't engage with it, wouldn't even look that direction, because it's not about supporting the cause. It's about, oh, I like this band. This band's big. This band's cool, so I'm going to donate to them. It really shouldn't. Obviously, you know it shouldn't really be like that, because it's not for the band. It's for, you know, the end goal is for raising money for charity or whatnot. So I see through a lot of it. Like, I really see through a lot of it, and I feel as if the community just needs to grow and stop being so, like, cool. Everyone's so cool. Like, oh, I'm too cool for that. I'm too cool for this. And it's sad. Like, it's really sad. And I mean, in all aspects of being an entertainer, you just gotta support people. I just don't know why it's so hard for people to try to support other people. I just don't. I mean, what they say, like crabs in a bucket. You ever heard that term? Crabs in a bucket is pretty much like a bunch of crabs in a bucket. Crabs, they're not gonna work together. They're just,
oh, they're all fighting each other to try to get out.
Yeah, and that's I'm just like, bro, like, y'all really act like crabs. Like, it's crazy. It just, I don't know, it stresses me out.
Do you think there's a lack, or maybe there's not enough like positive examples within the culture? Like, because I feel like that, you know, as this is something that I've heard from a particular podcast with like Will Smith, and Will Smith said, you know, we're creatures of example. Like, you know, like we see people doing stuff and we imitate their behavior. And so, of course, like, you want to see a society flourish to have positive behaviors, then you need to have people that are good examples. Like people that are famous, or just people who are influential that are good examples. Do you not think that there's enough celebrities, or I guess just what is it, like figures out there that are doing, like, that are showing to people, like, or what do you think?
People try. I see a lot of people trying. I saw there's an artist, Osiris. I'm a big fan. He's like an R&B singer. He raps as well, but he obviously has money for days. Like, he's well known, like, artist, like millions of streams on Spotify. He's got like, he's pretty well known in that community. And it's like, he posted that he downsized. He was like, yo, because, you know, it's always, oh, I got the new Bentley, the new McLaren or whatever, and the new car. He just bought, like, he downsized, you know, I'm gonna get like just a normal car, save gas. And he posted the video. Everyone's like, oh, you're broke now. Oh, that one song you had fell off. Or, oh, I guess, you know, like, people who were just attacking him. And it was just so interesting to see, like, what happens when, I mean, there's no question that he has wealth. I mean, I wouldn't say wealth. I say, like, he's rich. And there's no way around it. Like, unless he absolutely got screwed, like, detrimentally out of his contract. Like, he's obviously, you know, pretty well off, and he made a conscious decision. So, you know, I'm not gonna get the brand new limo, whatever. I don't know, the new Maserati or Lambo. I'm gonna get, because I don't even know what it was. It might have been a Hyundai. I think it was a Hyundai. Like, Hyundais are sick, but they were just flaming them for it. It was making fun of like, Tiana Trump.
Does that have to do with Donald Trump?
No, not at all. No, not at all.
No, I don't.
No, she's an adult entertainer, and she bought. She was driving in just a normal car, and it said, "Oh, she was caught." The post said "caught lacking." Tiana Trump caught lacking in traffic, and I was like, why is she caught lacking? Like, what'd she do? And because she had just like a regular normal car, and someone in the caption, some in the comments were like, "How is this caught lacking?" And then someone said, "She just have more money," and like that's what they said. I was like, "Who are you? You don't know her? Like, who are you?" Like, I mean, if y'all are strangers debating, like legit pocket watching and like debating on what she has, obviously she's at a level where like she's universally known in certain communities, like she's synonymous with. I mean, trust me, if people who straight up like watch like adult entertainment and are super into like sex work and stuff like that, they know who she is. So obviously she's a household name in that community. I mean, but they're just attacking her because she's not showing, like traits indicative of wealth and status. Like, oh, I got diamond encrusted earrings. Like, bro, who cares? And I feel that people always associate like, if you have money, you gotta act and dress and look like it, whatever. And that stuff's like crazy to me. Like, it blows my mind. Like, I really don't understand. Like, people are so caught up in that. And it's sad. It's like, it's scary because it's a vicious cycle. It's like, when are we ever gonna get out of the idea that, I have a bunch of money, but I don't show it, and people have to show, yo, look, I got this new blah, blah, blah. It costs, like, Future have a Patek on his wrist. It costs like $1 million. Like, I mean, like literally $1 million. That's like maybe 3 houses on the block, like legit. And it's all on his wrist. Like, it's cool, but like, what's the point? Because like, when I think of Future, I know, okay, obviously he's got money. He's been making hits for years. I say like a decade full of hits. And like I said, if he's not detrimentally screwed out of his contract, we know Future got money. What's the point of having $1 million watch, bro? I can check my phone. It's like, oh, okay, it's 4:14. Okay, like, I'm gonna look at $1 million watch to see what time it is. Like,
so does Future like flex about the fact that he has the watch and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, this was like years ago, so I don't even know if he got a $2 million watch now. I don't know. Like, if you have wealth, I get it, like, do what you gotta do, but I just think it's obviously people's choice how they want to show their status and wealth, but don't attack somebody if they simply just don't want to show it. Like, if you want to show it, that's cool. I don't, but it's like, oh, Tiana Trump should be making more money. Like,
no. I think that's why, let's say, for instance, Mac DeMarco, like, he's probably not like a super rich guy, but he's probably have decent money. But guess what? He's still just rocking some fucking old ass Vans.
He's well off.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, he's probably well off financially, yet he's wearing some old ass Vans, a fucking hat that his girlfriend gave him years ago, and then just like a regular like striped shirt. Like, I feel like when someone's like, not necessarily that you need to be that humble with like, that with your clothes and stuff, but like, when someone truly just wears what they want, they do what they want in spite of having so much money, like, I feel like that shows a lot in your character, right? Because at the end of the day, like, you can be famous as fuck, but you can still go eat a fucking McChicken.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know, dude. It's just really sad.
Yeah.
That people are just so caught up in, I don't know, like, I feel like these facades,
I feel like it comes down to the way that we've all grown up.
Yeah.
Because I could definitely say that I mean, I've been working a lot on it, but I've definitely had a lot of emotional, like, attachment to, like, the outside world and, like, insecurities and stuff. And I feel like at the end of the day, that's basically what's going on with everybody. You know, if people are chasing the clout or like searching for the external validation or trying to make themselves appear cooler than they are or whatever, like, I feel like it always comes down to like some sort of insecurity.
Yeah.
You know, because why are you doing it? You're doing it to try to make up for something that you don't feel for yourself already. So it's like an interesting thing. And I guess
external validation. That's
external validation.
It's a crazy term.
That's one of the other things I learned from that same podcast I was telling you about with Will Smith. He was on this podcast called the Jay Shetty podcast. And Will Smith, they were talking about like self-esteem. And then Will Smith said, like, it's called self-esteem. Like, you have to build it.
I've seen it.
You know,
seen that, yeah.
Like, you build it from yourself, you know. And recently I was kind of just like talking to myself, because I'll do that pretty often. Actually, not as often anymore, but I was doing it recently. And I was like, man, like, self-esteem, it's like, I feel like the way you build that is when the external forces are telling you to do something, like judging you and telling you should be doing this, but then having the courage to stick to your path, you know, or feeling like you want to do something, but everyone's going to judge you, but you still do it anyways. You know, so I feel like that's kind of like the path to build your self-esteem, because then it's like you're building the foundation so that like every step along the way, like you become stronger. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know, what do you think are some of the things that you can do to like legitimately build your self-esteem? Because something that I actually thought about talking about with you, you know, you've always been one to, I feel like, express yourself like in your own way, you know, with the way you dress, just everything you do. Like, I feel like, I'm sure you've probably got people like looking at you sometimes because you look different or whatever. Like, what would you say has allowed you to just be yourself and be different and just consistently doing that? Because I feel like ever since I've known you, you've always been yourself and you've always been true to that, and you haven't like gone away from that.
Let's go. Thank you, bro. I align myself with people who don't have ulterior motives. I'm around people who are just homies. Like, they're just like that. They're not gonna like. I've had like, I can count on like one hand, I think, like the falling outs I've had with like actual friends. You know, just all the people I'm around now, for the most part, like people who I actually in my circle who are like I talk to regularly, and not even regularly, but if we talk and there's a space in between, we can catch up, how, you know, just like that. The people I talk to, like they support me. Like, that's all what it is. Like, I really value the people who actually support me. Like, no ulterior motives, no like, I'm going to be your friend if I can get into this show, or I'm going to be your friend, or I'm, you know, going to be a little informant and ask you questions just so I can further my own end goal of turning somebody against you or whatever. Like, I'm just around people who are just, if I'm doing something that actually is a bit much, like, they're check me, you know? Because again, one problem is if you're around people who are just yes men and they're around you for this, your status and your clout, they're not gonna check anything you do. Like, some of these things that come out and I hear, I'm like, who greenlit that? Like, there's no one in his camp and his team to say, yo, don't do that, you know? And it's like, when you are people around you and they just want your status, they're just gonna have their hands out. Yeah, man, whatever you do is cool, man. Just, you know, post me, you know, or give me a check or whatever. If you're around people who they're all with you, they'd be like, yo, Brax probably shouldn't have said that. Or like, Brax, like, come here, bro. Like, you probably, you know, don't do that. You know, it's just, and it's not because like they want to make fun of me or like, haha, why'd you do that? It's like, nah, I don't want you to get laughed at. I don't want you to have a falling out. I don't want you to get caught up. Let me just be like, hey, bro, like, you probably shouldn't, whatever, whoop-de-whoop. I'm around people who have my best interest at heart with zero ulterior motives. I've been trying my hardest over the years to weed the people out who I can tell aren't really my friends. And it's definitely come to a point now that the last few people are starting to flake off, who I know are just like, like they're on some weird stuff. You know, just in layman's terms, they're on some weird stuff. Like, but I really like to be around people who I wouldn't be like embarrassed to say are my friends. If I got a homie who's out here lying and doing this and doing that, and got a homie who's doing like really suspect activity, like doing actually harmful things to other people, then it's embarrassing to say like, yo, like we're homies, because you're the company you keep. And I'm not trying to keep company with people who are out here doing like really bad, crazy stuff. Like, I'm just not trying to do that. Like, that's not my thing. And I want to be around people who I can see have similar goals and positive intentions, you know. And I don't know, I feel like that's how I've been, because I used to be super I'm still self-conscious, obviously, but I got to the point where my actual friends hype me up so much to the point that I don't need to go on Instagram or Twitter or whatever and seek external validation. You know, now it's like my homie can say, yo, that blah, blah, blah you have is so sick. I'm like, oh, thanks, dude. I don't have to hear it from some random stranger. I don't have to hear it from some, you know, it just, you're around people who are constantly and it's not like yes man behavior. It's just, you hype each other up. Like, it goes back to like the crabs in the bucket thing. Like, I feel as if I'm slowly but surely obtaining like peace of mind just being around people who support me. So just being on some weirdo stuff.
Because it's probably people that like, they're like, yo, Brax, that show was fucking dope, and then the same time like you're supporting whatever they're doing, right? Yeah. So it's just this like very mutual thing where it seems like it's basically like family. Yeah. The way family would be, like, unconditionally they support you. Yeah. Even if it's not like the best, they're like, hey, yo, like, dude, like, you're still so young, you still can make so much more. Like, whenever things aren't going good, they're basically supporting you in the dark times too, right? Yeah, I definitely agree. That's actually, I forgot, I think I might have heard that from somewhere too, but it's like, yeah, you only need like a handful of people that can be like brutally honest with you but always be there with you. And then, like you said, like, that's your support network. So then anything outside of that, it's like, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, like, how many people actually know you? You know, so then, like, especially if it comes down to like negative judgment, like, how do they act? Like, do they actually know that? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can see this all the time, like, online. Like, I mean, there's like a famous person and then all these people commenting, but it's like, how many people actually know that person? Yeah. You know, like, how many people actually know what's going on in their life? You know, like, who knows? Like, a family member could have passed away. Like, all these different things could have happened. Maybe that's why they behaved that way. You know, they normally don't, but like, they did that one time and everybody, like, I feel like maybe there's like a lack of, I don't know if the word mercy is that, but, you know, like, giving people a break and like that kind of thing. But anyways, not to go too far, like, I think that's really important, what like the community that you've built around you. And I feel like not even just for like material success, but just to live a happy life. I feel like that's one of the important things, to like have a close network of people that you could just be 100% like honest with. Yeah. Right? Because like, I don't know, I feel like it's really tough otherwise. Because like, for me, that's something that I'm like working on. I feel like I've been like building my community. Because I'm probably opposite of you, that I'm not the most extrovert, you know? And but now I'm starting to find, like, as I'm building more friendships, it's like, it really does make the whole difference. Yeah. Like, if you're not feeling good, like, you know, you got a couple people that you can call. Yeah. You know, to like, to ask about their opinion, or even just to like, even just to say hi to them and like kind of get that good energy. Like, yeah. Yeah.
You feel me? Sponsor break. Shout out to our sponsors.
Sponsored Bud Light and H2O over there. Just get that big gulp. Facts.
Nothing like two hydrogen molecules meeting an oxygen molecule. Nothing like it, bro.
we got our rock over here too. So it's
saying that's the bro.
You feel the energy?
High key. No, I really do.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now that the sun's gone down, you could actually kind of see it more.
Yeah.
Dude. Man, these podcasts, I don't really do too many. Like, I don't really do as many. And it's kind of funny because, and this is like building context for you and then the audience. But, yeah, it's like at one point I felt like, well, not at one point. It's just like this weird, like, whole process, evolutionary process for me. But now I'm just trying to really be real with myself.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, even if it's like right now, I don't know. I didn't really have anything to say. So I didn't want to, like, even try to make something up, you know? Like, just trying to be 100% authentic with myself. But, anyways, how about, which we've already kind of been doing this, but, you know, I told you before we started about the humanity talk. Let's talk about some positives, because I feel like we've been talking a little bit about, well, I mean, we've talked about both the positive and the negative, but what are some of the positive things that you're seeing going on in society, and maybe, like, what do you think has influenced those positive things to come to fruition?
I see, like, allyship more and more, but not like there's like performative allyship, and then there's like you're actually like an ally with helping somebody. Obviously, you know, like the world's in shambles, like it's obvious, you know, and everyone's helping each other out. There's people who are doing it just because like they want to look cool, and there's people who are actually helping people out. Like there's people that I've like helped that I won't even like, that I forgot, or like I won't even like, I mean, like, you know, I see people like they help out like unhoused people and they post about it. Like if you want to do that, like that's cool, but it's like how if I were to go about doing that, I mean, just use it as an example, or doing something, I would do it like low key, you know, because it's just like it's not about like being perceived doing it. It's just, you know, we're doing that, and there's a lot of people I see who are just actually helping people for the sake of actually helping people. Because like now it's like, I mean, there was like a mass shooting in San Jose yesterday. Did you hear about that?
Mm-mm.
Exactly. Like it's like there's so much crazy stuff going on. It's just like sad stuff all the time, like all the time, like to the point that if I go on Instagram or just go to my messages, like, who hit me up? Nobody. Okay, close the app. Like legit, dude. Yeah. Like there's been times where it's been like that. Maybe go to my Explore tab, because my Explore tab is like, it's like curated for me. Obviously, so it's like
just funny
wrestling stuff,
yeah.
Funny memes, 80s like dad hair bands, and like jazz stuff, and then like vegan food, and then like models, and that's about it. You know? And I just, okay, like, that's cool. I'm off it. Like I you know, because there's just like so much like crazy. I mean, I do want to be, on the flip of the coin, I do want to be educated on what's happening in the world, and I would do that until there's a sensory overload. Because if you were to sit down and try to find out every problem that's going on Earth, it's sensory overload. You would lose your mind. Like there's like so much going on. So I try to keep the date on who I can try to help. And when it's too much, I just tune out. And that's Instagram as a whole, or just any your preferred social media app. It's like you want to be up to date on what's going on, so who you can help, and then try to dip out, because it really gets in your head.
It gets in your head, right?
And yeah, like I see a lot of people just helping people out, like actually, like people just giving money away or giving resources. I've seen a trend lately, and I'm really stoked. Like community fridges. Have you seen those? OC. I see them a lot in OC and like San Gabriel Valley. Community fridge. Somebody posted, oh, community fridge restocked on blah 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 street, and you go to a fridge that's in the middle of the community. Apples, oranges, whatever, free. Bread, free.
But it's like in a fridge? Yeah,
or they call it a community fridge, but yeah, it's probably just like a fridge that's like it being able to like being in a spot where it can be on all the time.
Oh, okay.
And I see
literally anybody can go and grab the food?
Yeah, you see like community fridges, and you just see posted, oh, it restocked on blah 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 street. Go pull up, get what you need, and then dip. And it's like I never had really seen that, because everything is like, oh, money. Like people gotta like pay to see. Like, oh, you got glasses, you gotta pay to see. you get hearing aid. Oh, you got to pay to hear, you know. But now it's like, you know, you're hungry, you got to pay to eat, obviously. But it's like, if you absolutely need it, like, go to the community fridge. And like, I see that, I've been seeing that a lot lately, and that's really cool. There's some in the Inland Empire. I've definitely seen Rialto, Fontana, San Bernardino area have them, and then the community around like downtown Riverside. Haven't really seen anywhere else out here. I mean, that's just, you know, from my personal experience, but that's one thing I see. It's like, wow, because no one, hey, bro, see how much money I made off this community fridge? Like, you know, I mean, if you want to dabble into, I wrote it off on my taxes and I got all this money, like, that's other stuff. But a lot of these people aren't like big corporations. I see big corporations, oh, before you check out, do you want to donate some blah, blah, blah to the blah, blah, blah? They write that off on their taxes, bro. Like, it's cool. I appreciate that they're trying to help people out, but that's for the bag. Like, a lot of these big corporations, like, if you're a really big corporation, you wouldn't trip if one of your workers misses a Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Like, but when it comes like somebody small and they're just like, yo, I just do this. Like, I got an abundance of resources, an abundance of, you know, I'm just going to put it in a fridge. And I mean, as a fridge, it's going to be on. That costs money to keep it on, you know. But it's like literally just for people. That's something that is so interesting. I don't have the resources to be able to do it myself. But that I stuff like that, just crowdfunding and mutual aid, stuff like that is really cool.
Okay,
that's something I see that I get so stoked seeing that.
How do you feel about media? Because I think one of the things about media sometimes is like the way that it's like portrayed, and I feel like oftentimes there's a lot of like emotion associated to it, like even like the music they'll play, like breaking news, and it's just like this intense music.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of times the media, it really gets people emotionally. I mean, talk about you saying about like, you know, you go on Instagram long enough, like it's gonna be so much shit that it's literally gonna fuck with your head. But I feel like it's not only just the amount of information, but it's the way that they convey it that sometimes could like even hit you deeper. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't know, sometimes I question whether that's healthy for us as a population, you know, because obviously the music and all that, and you know the way that videos work, it's like a few seconds, then it switches to the next frame, next second, you know, it's in a way so that we get into that state of flow. You know, I mean, but it's a great thing, but it could also be used for something that's not that great.
Yeah.
You know, like if like certain movie, that's how the way most movies work. It goes one frame and then it switches, and you're constantly changing things and the music, so it keeps you really entertained. But at the same time, like I feel like that could oftentimes like get people get into their fear. You know, like it gets you afraid, like fuck, that shit's going on, like oh my god, or like I don't know, it might make people afraid to then make an action that is not really beneficial for themselves. You know, and that's probably where I could be concerned about. But at the end of the day, like bullshit's always been going on. I feel like since the dawn of history, like shit's always gonna happen. Like the bad shit's always gonna happen. The bad shit's still happening. The bad shit will continue to happen. So at the end of the day, like we had to take care of ourselves, right? Like
take care of ourselves in terms of like as
making
a people.
Sure that well, like I'm saying, when I say take care of ourselves, I mean like take care of your own mental health.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, like always have other people in mind. But if you're absolutely going through it down bad, then it's like, yo, you gotta focus on yourself. But if you have an abundance of resources, and I'm not gonna get into the billionaire debate because that, you know, that stuff goes on forever. But I'm just saying personally, if you have an abundance of blank and other people need blank, try to distribute blank, and blank could be
anything.
Yeah, you know.
Okay.
But if you don't have anything, and you know, then that's gray area stuff. You know, like if you're broke, they're broke, but you know they're having an aneurysm or something, and you know you could probably help them out. Maybe with something that doesn't really require funds.
Oh yeah,
or whatever.
yeah. A lot of things don't even require money. I mean, literally, just checking in, saying how are you doing.
Yeah.
You know, giving someone a phone call, going over to someone's house, literally just baking them a cake. Like, just the smallest of things I feel like can make a really big difference.
I'm bummed out because I don't really check in. I check in with people, but I have like a different way of checking in on people.
How's that?
Like, if I see something that reminds me of somebody, it's like a meme, or I send it, or I just send dumb stuff. Like, I send messages with invisible ink or something dumb. I just, just send something stupid to somebody. Obviously, if you cross my mind, I'm going to contact you. Like, I didn't type this whole thing on accident, and that doesn't go as far with some people as it does with other people. Some people want like a, hey, how are you? Me, I send like some distorted meme thing and, and emphasize it, or send something dumb or whatever. But I do want to make my love language more compatible with other people, because they definitely need a translator, because I'd be doing some ridiculous stuff. But it's in terms of like, oh, I thought about you. So me sending this video of a dog doing a handstand or something stupid is like, it's meant to send to you just because, oh, you crossed my mind. I'm not just spamming this to people. I ain't send a bunch of people this, I maybe send like 3 or 4 people, because a lot of people I associate with have like the same humor. So it's like, oh, but then there are times if I know somebody is going through something, I'm like, hey, how are you, bro? Like, what's up? Like, da-da-da-da. But I don't know. Like, checking in with people is definitely, and like I said, I have been trying to change, because there are some situations that I didn't really handle the best I wish I could have, in terms of like reaching out to some people. But I do want to change my ways of, I'm making it like universally understood, hi, how are you, instead of some gibberish video or something, something
I got
dumb.
you. Well, either way, I think me knowing you as much as I know you, like, I know that's Braxton's way of saying hello. I know that's Braxton's way of like, it's like, because like when I think of Braxton, like if I were to just think about Braxton, like he's just this dude who like, he's just funny, he's just like always goofing off. But like at the end of the day, like you have to have a serious conversation. Like I know you can have it. Mm-hmm. But I feel like that's good, because at the end of the day, like it's just about being yourself, and expressing love in the way that feels honest for you. Yeah. And like just like you said, like that's fucking tight that you say you want to work on it, for your love to maybe be even more powerful, or to be more universal. Like that's great. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, all you can do is just focus on being better, like a better version of yourself. But I feel like the sheer fact that you're just being yourself, like that in itself is powerful.
Let's go.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, thank you.
Braxton, I say I know we could talk for a lot longer, but I say let's just go to the last question, which I think I asked you on the last podcast, which is, and I know in a way it's like we've already pretty much been, in a way you've probably already kind of given your message for the human race with everything you're saying, but if you had to give like an actual direct message, you had the entire human race, everybody could hear you, understand you, translate it into every single language, what would be your message today for the human race?
I would tell everybody to build a positive community, hold people accountable if they're doing things that are not okay, and everyone has their idea of what's okay and what's not okay, but sometimes it's obvious. Like if your homie's being sus, be like, bro, you're being sus, and we're not gonna be friends if you keep being sus. Do that for one. If it's like, if someone has a goal, help them achieve that goal. Don't just be there when the goal is achieved. Be there when they're trying to like push something up a mountain. Don't be like, hey, look at my homie, he had this rock on a mountain. Like, no, like, be like, yo, look at my homie, he's pushing this rock up this mountain. Give me a sec, I'm gonna go help my homie out real quick. And then at the end, be like, yo, not look what we did. Yeah. Look what my homie did. Bro, yeah. And that's what people need. I mean, this is in every language, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I want y'all to listen to this. Yeah, just like, I don't know, just stop being so competitive and weird, and everyone's so cool. Stop being so cool. Stop being so like, I mean, I'm doing. I'm like, bro, like, come on now. Like,
I got you.
We're in the same boat. Like, just, if you're not in the same boat, don't be condescending towards people. Don't treat people like they're expendable. That is another thing. Don't treat people like they're expendable, because people aren't really expendable as you think. Everyone has something different to offer to the table, and when you as a person start acting like, okay, I'll replace them with somebody else, I don't need them, when they haven't really done anything wrong to you, you need to check your own ego, you need to check your own self. Because if you're in an organization with them, or a group, or a band, or a business, or whatever, y'all are both in the same spot. Like we saw an old lady with like a 90s Corvette. Oh yeah. And I was like, you tried to acknowledge her, and she was like, she looked away, like she's so cool.
Yeah, it seemed
like
bro,
you and I live in the same complex. Like,
yeah.
You saw what I'm saying? Like, you got a cool whip, that's cool, but we're in the same complex. So so it's like if you're trying to say, oh, they're expendable, I can kick them out, even though if we're in the same boat, we're both trying to achieve the same goal in the same spaces, in the same finite areas that other people are in. Like, not everyone's expendable. You shouldn't treat people like that. You should really value each other, because, like, I don't want to be corny, but once it's like, when people are gone, they're gone. And one thing I've been doing is, like, if, I try to be like, just try to help people, if they're not on some weird stuff, just try to be homies with people and help people out. Because if you're there's one day you're going to be down bad, and you're going to want somebody to, pull up. But I lost my train of thought.
Nah, dude, that was beautiful. If that was it, was that it?
Low key.
Dude, that was absolutely super beautiful. I'm being serious. Like, I really, really actually love that, because I feel like you kind of did go in these different places, but like I feel like you tied the whole podcast together, because you almost touched on a lot of the little things that was like the highlight that made the whole thing. So I know that's going to be like a really awesome snippet for people to go and watch. And the cool thing too is, like, this will be online, and like you could watch it, show it to your kids if you ever have someone. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's fucking dope. And like, I think this is leaving a positive legacy, this kind of conversation, and all the credit to you, because you've really been the one flowing the conversation, I feel like, in terms of like actually giving all the information. So Braxton, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you, man. I really think that the listeners will get some value from this, because I seriously feel like you dropped some really great perspective. Everybody tuning in, thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a pleasure. I'll make sure to put Braxton's information in the description of the episode, so you can go support him, check out his music and everything else that he has going on.
I'm dropping a solo album soon.
Solo album?
Yeah.
All right, you guys heard it here first.
Yes, sir.
All right, Braxton, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Until next time.
I'm saying. Let's go. Shout out Darson Kershwick Jr. That's the bro.